Well, hello, everybody. It's Cleta Colson-Eyre. Today is October the 28th, 2018. And you guys, we have 3 more days left in the month and 64 days left in this year. Someone on the radio, it was on the 25th, they're like, 2 months till Christmas. I'm like, oh my goodness, and so just crazy. So anyway, tonight I'm so excited. I've got a little thing I want to talk to you guys about. But before I do, I wanted to bring on Dana Hamlin. Dana is a brand new consultant, signed up a little less than 2 weeks ago. And tonight we did her very first party. And on Tuesday night, I'm going to go ahead and do a shout out for Phyllis Harris. Phyllis is also a brand new consultant this month. Both of these are new for this month. And Phyllis, I did her first party, or she did it, and I just went to it and did a little bit of it. But anyway, both of these parties were very successful. And the reason I want to tell you guys about them is because I want you to know that if they can do it, you can too. And if you have not been getting the sales, if you haven't been getting the sales that I'm talking about, I want you to think about a couple of different things. As Dana talks, I'm going to ask her some questions and think, what could you do to have a better party? Okay, so let me tell you about Phyllis's. Phyllis ended up having 9 people there. One of them was a teenager. It was a mom and daughter, so 8 adults. And we sold over $850 at that party. And very successful. Everybody came. Everybody loved it. And we did the game, got names, she got bookings, and it was just a great party, an $800 party. It's just awesome. Okay, and so then today we did a party at 1 o'clock on Sunday, and I got out of church and bolted it down to Florida. Dana lives in Jasper, Florida, which is about 45 minutes or so from me, not too far. And so I'm going to let Dana talk a minute, and I'm going to ask you just a couple questions, Dana. And so first of all, Dana, she ended up having 5 people there. And so Dana, what do you think the key was to getting some people to come to this first party? Who did you invite, and what did you say to get them there?
Well, I invited mostly close family members and my best friend, and I am not above guilt tripping any of them. So basically that was what I did. But once they got there, but once they got there, they were actually able to try, everything. It's basically just trying to get someone there. I think that's the biggest thing, because we actually had a couple there today that had already tried Mary Kay years ago, and may not have been, as impressed with some of the older products, but then turned around and bought, the biggest, advanced packages that we've got. So
exactly. So the people that were there on her party, a lot like new consultants sometimes. It was her mom, her stepmom, her best friend, and her best friend's daughter, and then another, seemed like a friend of the family that came. And so it doesn't take 100 people or 10 people or 20 people to have almost $1,000 party. I'm just telling y'all. And so what we did is we basically did what we always do. We just went with the flip chart, and we did what was on the flip chart, and we added the charcoal mask. And, when we did that, sometimes you might be afraid to do that and think, well, what if they don't start writing names? I just rarely find that somebody will start writing some names. And it's funny because her mother was the one that I said, get your phones out. And she basically got her phone out, did exactly what I said. And when I said, I need y'all to write some names down, people that you think would love to have a facial, people that need to be pampered. And so she got it down, and she started with the A's. She just starts writing. And what happens is, just like our booking blitz we had last Monday night at the meeting, which I'm going to say a little bit about that, but just like that, once somebody starts writing names, then they all start writing names. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Like, every now and then you may have someone that only gives 2 or 3 names. That's okay. It might be 2 really two or three really good names. But on this one, a couple of them gave 10 names or 9 names apiece, and the other ones had 3 or 4 or 5. But even if you went away with just 10 names, do you know how much time that'll save you rather than going to the mall and getting 10 names? I mean, like we had one song and we had 20 something names. So please do the referral game. Do the referral game, and you will get some names that you can call back and you can book. So after we did that, we went ahead and went through the skincare. We only did cheek color and lips. We gave them a color card, but we told them, they could do the eyeshadow later. And a lot of them wanted to do the eyeshadow, but what I have found is that if you focus on the skincare for this first party and not get strayed to do all these other things, you will sell more, because people tend to buy the last thing they put on sometimes. And sometimes it's like you do all this eyeshadow and then they end up not buying it anyway. Now, if it's a color class, that's a different thing. And then the whole focus is on color. And we've got these new placemats we're going to use for that. So, Dana, were you surprised at, we did the close like we always do, where we offer just 3 specials. And I'm going to repeat them just because I know most of you are doing this, but if you're not, I just want to prove to you that it works. On the first special was the basic. It was a cleanser day cream with a CC cream at half price. The second one was the miracle set, where we added a free charcoal mask. And the third one was the ultimate miracle set, just like on the placemat, and we added the free roll-up bag. And that's it. That's the only specials we did. And so, Dana, tell me about the sales of your party. How much did you sell, and kind of what did you sell?
Well, most everyone was interested in the, in the skincare. Obviously we had quite a few that were in at least their 50s. My mom is actually in her early 60s, so they were, very interested in the sets where they got, if we did the, I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long day today. Like my stepmom especially, I was actually really shocked that she ended up getting as much as she did. She was the one who had actually tried the Time-Wise stuff before and had actually already told me before she came. She said, she said, I'll order something from you just because, but I'm not, probably going to do a real big order because I'm not real thrilled. I'm not a real big fan of Mary Kay products. And then she got here and she tried on the new stuff. And next thing I know, she had the biggest order of everybody in here. So,
so every single person there actually bought the skincare set.
Yes.
And I want to tell you guys how you can sell the repair set at a skincare class without even trying it. And I've done it just about at every party. And what I do is I do the skincare class with what comes in the kit, which is the Time-Wise. And then on that page that shows the extra sets, I talk about the new botanical line for teenagers, which we sold one. And there was a teenager sitting there, even though she tried the Time-Wise miracle set. And actually they booked a party to do like a mother-daughter party and do all the daughters with botanicals. Then we talked about the clear proof, and we talked about that a little bit. And then we talked about the Time-Wise repair. And even if you're not in your 50s, I mean, like I am, and it's real easy for me to talk about it because I use it, but even if you weren't, let's say you're in your 30s, what you do is when it's on that page, you say, and there is another skincare line. And, if you're in your late 40s, 50s, 60s, and above, you may prefer this. It's our Time-Wise repair. And the Time-Wise repair has a cleanser. It has a day and night cream, just like the miracle set, but it has retinol in it, in the night cream and in the eye cream. And it has a lifting serum, which helps everything that's starting to sag lift up. And if you would like, we will give you the same special as we do on the Ultimate Miracle set, where you get the free roll-up bag, you get the free charcoal mask, and you get CC cream at half price. And y'all, that's literally it. And we sold a repair set. And really her mom, she kind of wanted the repair set, but she really liked the smell of the other one, which is so funny because I know I don't know about you, but I've had some people return their cleanser and moisturizer because they said they could not stand the way it smelled. And then I got people like them that tonight they're like, I just love the way this smells. It just smells so good. And I'm like, that's so crazy. People have, and anyway, but that's how at your party, sometimes you can get your sales up. And just like at Phyllis's party, we did the same thing, but one girl went ahead and bought the repair set, and maybe two that were a little bit older or in their 50s or whatever. And they're like, you know what? I need the big one. It's not that much more. And so I want to just let y'all know that. I mean, you can have a repair party where everybody tries the repair, but honestly, I can sell them all day long and just talk about them because it's the same steps. And I just tell them that that's for advanced signs of aging, and the other one is for moderate and early signs of aging. And they know which one they have or which one they think they have, So the other thing that we did is when we closed the party, we did the tickets for the names, and then, of course, we did tickets for booking. And you know what? Sometimes you get the bookies and sometimes you don't. And what I want y'all to know is it doesn't matter, because if you get the names and you get no bookings, you still have the names. So you just book them, right? But sometimes if you get the names, then they'll say, yeah, I'll invite these people. So we had 3 people that booked a party as well. And this was something I wanted to just kind of mention. Dana and I, we took them to the couch away from everybody else to close. If you can do that, that's ideal. If you can take them away from the group, because then you can talk to them for a minute. And, people don't always want everybody to know their business. So these were good friends and family, so they probably wouldn't have cared. But it just helps you be able to talk to the girl. One of the things that happened was we were booking them, and when it is family, and I was teaching Dana this, and I just want to mention it to you guys too. A lot of times people will want to get back with you on a day, and you have a tendency to want to say, talk to your friends and see when y'all can do it, and then let me know. And that's common that you'd want to say that. But what happens is people forget, and then they don't get back with you, and you're calling them, oh, I hadn't asked them yet. And basically they leave your house or you leave their house and you don't have the booking. So it's always better to get your date book out and get a tentative date. And then they can work around that day. And I usually tell them just what I told one of her girls today. I said, if I was going to say, hey, do you want to go to the movies sometime? And they'll say, well, yeah. I'll say, let's get a group of girls together and let's go. Okay, well, when y'all want to do it? I don't know. Let me find out. I need to talk to my husband. I got to talk to my kids. Okay, well, let's all get back to each other and let's figure it out and let's go. And guess what? Nobody goes to the movies. However, you want to go Friday night, you get on there and you say, hey, we're going to the movies Friday night. Can y'all come? No? Okay, well, fine. Well, maybe we'll do it another night. Can you come? Okay, good. You can? Great. Can you come? Good. You got any friends want to come with you? And all of a sudden, y'all all go in the movies, right? But because people, your priority is to get that booking, but their priority, you forget. Now, she had her mother-in-law, what was her stepmom? I don't know. It was a friend of the family. Anyway, somebody, they all had stuff, and they kind of had a tentative time that they want to do it, and she was going to talk to them about it. So just remember that if you will go with the plan on just saying, hey, you want to do it this week or next week, and you need to have your date, but they know when you can do it. Because what will happen is sometimes they'll say, well, I've got everybody together and we can do it next Saturday. And you're like, I got my baby's birthday party next Saturday. And you can't even do it. And she's got all that date together. So it's always better to get the date that you can do it and she could do it. And then she can work her friends around it. And then if you have to change it, you can. So I just wanted to run that teaching point in there with everybody again today. And then, so the last thing that I wanted to talk about was her best friend sat down and she was buying the skincare set and she was buying the botanicals for her daughter. And, I thought of all the people there that she should do this with us. And actually her mom took some information as well. And we gave her some tickets for that. And we just gave away a free hand cream with the tickets, by the way. But her friend was there and I said, you ought to do this with us. And her friend was saying, I'm too shy. I can't talk in front of people, blah, blah, blah. And then Dana goes, yeah, but we went to the health clinic. They did this health fair. She goes, and you were the one talking. She's like, yeah, I did. So I think somebody told your girl that she was shy. Because honestly, she's very outgoing if you ask me. She did a great job. But so anyway, she said, well, maybe I should do that. So Dana, tell me what happened to, you got her to sign up. She's going to sign up and become a consultant. So how did that, tell me how that looked with you.
Well, I mean, after we all left, Natalie had called me back afterwards and was talking to me about it. And she actually kind of, made the joke about how her husband was going to kill her for spending so much money at the makeup today or on skincare today. And then it just kind of went from there on talking about, she said, well, did all that stuff come in your package to sell? And I said, yeah, pretty much everything that you ordered today comes in your package, to sell. And she says, really? She's like, how much is that? Like a couple $100? I said, no, it's actually only $100. And she's like, what? So anyway, so it just kind of went from there. And then of course she was concerned that it was, going to affect, my sales for my party. And I'm like, no, I already have another party going on, it's fine. Just, I'd rather have you come on and, help sell anyway. And, I even told her, that we could even do it, as a tag team. If she's a little nervous about talking, I'll talk and you organize. I'm the least organized person ever. And she is very organized. So we really kind of accent one another there. So anyway, she came back and she's still ordering the botanicals for our little sweet Anna Lee. And she's ordering, she's signing up tomorrow to become a consultant. So.
All right. And you know what? You never know, because even though she might be signing up right now just to get the products at a good deal, what I want to do is what I want you to do is say, hey, we need to let Cleta go ahead and do a party for you, because you might as well make some money while you're doing this, And
actually, she is.
Good.
She is. She's actually interested in doing it. We actually discussed it a little bit further later on, and I think we're going to try to tag team it some a little bit, just to try to start building a team.
Okay. And then the last thing I want to mention about the party, and then I'm going to go into something else, is that I was telling Dana, because Dana's brand new too. I said, all right, Dana, I want you to think about this. If Natalie comes in and does at least a 600, you're going to get a $50 bonus, cash bonus. All right. So I said, that's like selling $100. That's like selling the miracle set almost. You get $50. There's your profit. Okay. In addition to that, you will get a bundle, $220 of free product, which is like two miracle sets free that you could sell and make 100% profit. So really, by signing someone up, you're still, if you sell the 2 miracle sets, which I know she will, you're going to profit $260, which you would have to sell $520 to make that money, a $520 sale. So I want to, sometimes you kind of feel like, oh, am I losing money here? You're not. And in the long run, you're going to make a lot of money, because you're going to get paid on her for the rest of her life. Every single time she orders, you're going to get a commission check. And who knows, she could be someone that could come, like, really do great things with it. And, she might be a sales director under you. And I mean, there's just no telling what could happen. So it's pretty exciting, because what's going to happen, you guys, is Dana, when she places her order tomorrow, she's going to make our girl Joanna Griffin a new red jacket. Okay. That's who signed her up. And then when this girl signs up, then that's going to give her a senior, it's going to be a team that she'll have too. So Joanna will have like 2 teams of teams. We've been talking about that. So Joanna has got, now she's got Dana, and then she has Elizabeth Mitchell, and both of them have teammates. And so that'll give her 2 teams under her, which is pretty exciting, isn't it? And so, like, when Joanna decides to go DIQ, guess what? She gets to take Dana, and she gets to take Dana's recruits with her, and Elizabeth recruits with her. So, and then anytime, if Dana decides to go DIQ, anybody that Natalie recruits gets to go with her. So you really get to, you don't get paid on those extra people, the people your recruits do yet, but it's going to strengthen you when you decide to move up to leadership in Mary Kay. Plus, it's just a lot more fun to do it with a girlfriend. And this is her best friend, so it's just going to be a lot of fun for both of y'all. And you can encourage each other. So, Dana, I just wanted to thank you for just jumping on here real quick. I know you're new and it's been a long day, and but I just want everybody to see you and meet you, and I'm just so proud of you and how just the good start that you got started today. And I know it's going to be the first of many, and she actually did a few little Facebook parties that she's closing out tomorrow. So really no telling after she gets those orders. I'm sure it may be close to $1,000 a week or more, right? And so I'm praying for $1,000 week for you. So,
Well,
all right. Do you have
I was
anything
gonna
else you'd like to
too,
say?
I was just gonna say too, whenever I originally bought my set to sell, I was only getting it for what I was getting out of it too, to save myself some money. And here I am now, like actually getting excited about making sales and
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So
that's right. So you never know. You never know. And look
yeah.
at you. You'll be a senior consultant as soon as we get her order in. So it's so awesome. It's so awesome. So anyway, well, thank you so much. I'm going to mute you out for a minute, and then I want to share a couple things with you guys, and then we'll let you have it. And you know how, like, during the week, sometimes, especially if you're a Christian, you may, and probably even if you're not, but you may hear something and you hear it over and over during the week. Like, for example, you may read a Bible verse, and then, like, you go to church and he talks about that verse and you didn't even know it, and then you turn on the radio and there's something about it there, or turn on Facebook, And so this week, in the last few days, the word that has been come to me 3 or 4 times, I thought, well, I must be supposed to share this with my girls tonight. And it's the word courage, and about having courage and to be courageous. And so I just want to take a few minutes and talk to you about that. And also I have something that even Mary Kay Ash put on being courageous. And so tonight, well, the first thing I saw was something on Facebook. And you know what? It was one of those, I know y'all probably do this too, where you're laying in the bed and your husband's asleep, so you don't hear it, but you see it. And sometimes they have the words on the bottom of a video. I know y'all all do this like me, right? And anyway, the video was, I believe it was Will Smith, but I can't remember. I think that's what it was. And it was a whole video on courage, and it was about, it was all these people like on this diving board, and just one by one, and they'd get to the end ready to jump off the diving board, and then they would back up because they were afraid. And then it was like all different ones. And then there was some, like, even there were 6 to do like parasailing and hang gliding, and some off a cliff, and they'd get to the edge and then they would back up and fear would stop them. And then at the end of the video, it talked about, and then they just started jumping. And I don't know if y'all ever remember when you were little, the very first time you jumped off the diving board, just not a high dive, just a regular diving board. You're just scared, right? And then either you do it with courage or your brother pushes you, one or the other, right? Okay. And and then there's time where you went to a pool that had a high dive, and you're like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I remember being scared. It was at the Boys and Girls Club here in Valdosta, but somebody did it right before me. I thought, oh, okay. And so I did it, right? And then I remember going to college, and they had these bluffs. It was in Arkansas, Hot Springs, and they would go and jump off this bluff into the springs. And, it was scary, but, it's like you got you don't want to be a chicken, right? And so you go jump off a cliff almost. And, but there's other times in life that you've been scared. I remember taking my driver's license test with, like, to get your driver's license. And I thought, oh, please don't let me wreck while I'm trying to get this test done, And so it's all through your life, you've done things. All of you that have had children, right before you went to have the baby, you're like, can I even do this, right? And there's just things that you overcome fear by doing it most of the time. And so today at church, this morning, he talked about David and Goliath. And if you know the story of David and Goliath, it's a great story, and it's about, just in case you don't know, it's in 2 Samuel 17 if you want to read about it. But David was a little shepherd boy, a young boy, not some warrior. And then Goliath was this 9-foot giant. If you think of someone that you think that's tall, my nephew is 6'7", and he is tall, but 9 foot, that's huge. So he was 9 foot tall. He wore armor that weighed 152 pounds. So he had like meat on him. And he was just massive. And every day he would come out and he would torment the Israelites, saying, okay, any of y'all, come on. Anybody want to fight me? Anybody. And if anybody ever would, he says, if y'all can beat me, I'll give you the king's daughter to marry, and then you'll also get the whole army. And every day the Israelites would come and they would just run in fear. And King Saul was the one that should have done it, but he didn't do it either. He was scared. every day, 40 days in a row. He'd come out there and he would just like, yell at them and beat them down, and they would run off scared. And then David was in the fields, and he came to check on his brothers who were part of the, the warriors up there that were running. And so what's going on, And he's like, I can't believe this. So he went to Saul and said, how many days are you, let's get rid of this guy who's disgracing our country. And of course, Saul's like, you're just a little shepherd boy. These are trained warriors. You can't do it. He goes, listen, I killed a bear. I killed a lion, and I didn't do it. The Lord helped me, and he will help me kill him. And so Saul was like, all right, whatever you want to do. So Saul put on this big old armor on him and this helmet, and it was so heavy he couldn't walk around. He says, I can't do it with all this. So he went out to that giant, and he had 5 little stones, and is all he had. And and a sword. 5 little stones and a sword in his side. And he went out there, and he ran toward the giant. And the giant's like, I can't even believe this is an embarrassment. He ran toward him, did his stone, and y'all know the story. One little stone went up, 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 and the giant came tumbling down. He hit him right in the forehead. And of course, what happened? The Lord helped him kill that giant, right? I mean, not David, the Lord did it. And so then he went and cut off his head, held it up, and and then the Israelites defeated the Philistines that day, and they went running. So I just want to tell you, think about this, okay? In Mary Kay, sometimes you're scared to do a couple things. And so what did David do to win? Well, first of all, he had to show up. I mean, like, no one else would even show up. So he showed up to the game. He showed up to the war, okay? He suited up with his 5 stones. Then he let go of any extra baggage and that other people put on him. And I want you to think about what kind of baggage people put on you. Tell you about yourself, tell you what you can't do, tell you how you got to do it this way or whatever else. He just released all that baggage, and he said, no, I'm going to use what the Lord gave me and what I know and those little stones, right? And he had courage, and he said, I'm going to make the effort, and God is going to I'm going to give him the results, and he's going to get all the glory, because anybody knows I couldn't do it myself, right? And so it takes courage to do that, and of course, we know the result. Well, with Mary Kay, I want you to think about all the times it takes courage. To me, it takes courage to walk up to a stranger in Walmart and start a conversation with somebody, when that is not natural, okay? It takes courage to ask that girl for her name and number. It takes courage to walk into a house with 5 or 6, 7 people that you don't know and try to be confident and friendly, and especially when you feel like you might be getting the cold shoulder from some of them, right? It's not always a friendly, like you want it to be, but it not always is. It's scary sometimes, okay? It takes courage to ask for the sale at the end of the party. It takes courage to ask for the booking at the end of the party. It takes courage to ask for the recruits, to ask someone if they might be interested in doing this, just like Dana did today. It takes courage to go to your meeting sometimes by yourself when your recruiter can't come and you've got to go. And you're like, I'm going to go anyway. It takes courage to go to a weekend retreat with a bunch of people that you've never been to before. You don't know what's going to happen. You're like, maybe you haven't spent that many nights away from your husband or your children. It takes courage to step out and do something like that. It takes courage to get on an airplane and fly to Dallas. Some of you that have never flown before, to go to a seminar. It takes courage to come up in the front of the meeting and tell your goals, or even to tell your sales director your goals. It takes courage sometimes just to tell a friend who maybe you perceive has a better job and is well off, maybe, to tell her what you're doing, that you're selling Mary Kay. And all those things, you got to kind of pull it out. It's like you're standing on the end of the diving board and you're like, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it. And the only thing that's going to help you is when you actually do it, right? And so I know you're praying for your business. I know I'm praying for your business. And I want to read you something that Mary Kay Ash said about courage. And many of you have seen this book of mine. It's called From My Heart to Yours. And I got it in 1989 when I became a sales director, just a few months after I became a sales director. And I want to read this to you. She wrote this, and it says, the death of fear is in doing what you fear to do. And I wrote my notes, and then I found my book, and it's just so interesting. So I'm going to read you what Mary Kay said. She said, a wise person once said, if you fear something, think of the very worst thing that could happen. You'll usually find it's not so bad that you can't handle it. And we talked about that last week. Like, nobody is going to, when you call them, they're not going to take the gun out and blow your head off through the phone. It's not going to happen, okay? According to Samuel Jackson, courage is the greatest of all virtues. Why? Because if you don't have courage, you may not have an opportunity to use any of the others. It takes courage too. And this is what Mary Kay said. It's so funny. Talk to a stranger about the Mary Kay opportunity. Be a good wife and mother. Get up some mornings. Sometimes it takes courage just to get out of the bed. Hold 10 skincare classes in 1 week. Recruit 5 people in a month. Keep on keeping on when times are rough. A great deal of talent is lost in the world for the want of a little courage. So if you become discouraged, and we all do sometime, will you become cynical and despondent? Will you rush around with no purpose or plan? Or will you recover your courage as quickly as possible and do what needs to be done? Challenge yourself to do better each week than you did the week before. Shoot for the moon. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Most of us spend a lot of time worrying about things that never happen. It's said, and I know you may have heard this, that 90% of all we worry about never comes to pass. 90%. Can you remember what you were worrying about this time last month? Probably not. Worry is a thin stream of fear, with which, if encouraged, becomes a wide channel into which all other thoughts flows. I want y'all to think about that. So when you start worrying, it's like a little tiny little trickle. And then when you encourage the worry, it turns into a wide channel where then every thought is going that way. Okay? Fear of the unknown is a constant in our lives, but doing cancels out fear. Doing cancels out fear. Some youngsters were sitting around a youth retreat campfire, as youngsters like to do, beginning telling scary stories that evoked plenty of squeals. And the scary mood darkened. One little girl declared that she had just seen something big and white on the edge of the woods. All the children crowded to look, and near panic prevailed. One of the counselors volunteered to check it out and found a brown and white truck of a sycamore tree that had been there all along. She returned. Trunk of a sycamore tree. She returned saying, I've seen it. I've touched it. It can't hurt you. Tomorrow you can look at it for yourselves. When the unknown is unmasked, fear disappears. We need the courage to face the unknown without wavering and to take action against our fears. The death of fear is in doing what you fear to do. And so I just posted on my public Facebook page, and I shared it with my group, but I also posted on the Boss Babe group. There are, I don't know how many, but I posted a link that has 100 Bible verses that addresses to take courage, and that the Lord did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and courage. And I want y'all to look at them. I'm not going to take the time to read 100 Bible verses. Y'all probably went to church today. You don't need me to be preaching. But, I think it'd be a great thing to read. Take several of them, read every day, every in the morning and at night, because it does. You have to take something on the inside that you're scared to make that call. And what happened Monday night was so thrilling. And I talked about it on the Boss Babe. I think I did a Boss Babe Boxer call on it, a little message. But I want to tell you here, it was amazing. Selah got up and talked about having a booking blitz. And when we got to it just happened to be we did not have guests that night. And I was running late. I was in Texas, and I just drove straight to the meeting from Texas, if you can believe it. And so she started by giving everybody the action sheet that we talked about that just had a simple script of, hey, I'm so excited. I've decided to start a Mary Kay business. I have a challenge to do 30 faces in 30 days. Can I borrow your face? I promise I'll give it back. I mean, it's just simple. And we told them just to change it to say, I'm going to challenge to do 10 faces in 10 days. Because we wanted to do it by the end of the week, right? End of the month. And then on that sheet, it talked about saying, which is better for you, beginning of the week, end of the week, Tuesday or Thursday, 6 or 7, my house or yours, till you get the booking, right? And so then we challenged them to not text, to pick up the phone and call. And they were like, I could tell some of them were like, I don't know. Well, let me tell you what happened. we turned on loud music, thumping, bumping music. We had these clappers. And I said, okay, this is like the Jerry Lewis telethon. And we teamed them up. They're all sitting beside each other, somebody. We said, every time you get a booking, you take that clapper and go, clap, clap, clap. You know, you do the clap. It's like clapping hands that you got a booking. And so Selah and I, we turned the music on, and then people got on the phone, and they started calling. And all of a sudden, like Phyllis, who's not on here tonight, like she got a booking. She was sitting by Pam Wagner. So she starts slapping the thing. And Pam, you can tell she was like, oh no, that's a new consultant. So Pam gets on the phone and she starts talking. So then Pam gets a booking. So then it goes back. And then Phyllis was like, Phyllis gets on, Phyllis gets another. Those two together got over 10 each, I think 11 each. And then we had several of them were all sitting by each other. Catherine Scott was sitting by her brand new recruit. And they were, they're like, hey, call this girl. Okay. And they would go back and forth, and the energy of hearing everybody on the phone, and the guests were like, what's that noise in the background? And they're like, that's a book. We're having this booking challenge. I'm at the Mary Kay meeting, and I'm trying to do this before we quit it so I can win. I just need one more. Can you help me? And y'all, in 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, those 10 ladies got 62 bookings, like dates on the date book. It was amazing. It was amazing. And we had them all stand up and tell what they learned. And some of them had never got on the phone and made calls. They did everything through text. And here's the thing through text is you can get some, bookings through text. But honestly, if you want to get a bunch in a short amount of time, you just pick up that phone. Because then you're not waiting. You're not staring at the phone going, did she see it? Is she going to respond? And they can hear your voice of how excited you are and what you're trying to do. I mean, really, it's hard to tell when you're that excited. And so they face their fears of getting on the phone, like picking up the phone. And it's so funny because when I started Mary Kay, that was the one and only way to get bookings was to pick up the phone, because we did not have text and we did not have, no one emailed. And so you had to pick up the phone and call people. So it was awesome. It was awesome. And they just faced their fears. And now I'm sure they're not scared to get on the phone and call people because they've done it before and it was fun. I mean, honestly, I think it's crazy when someone will sit there and text someone for 2 hours. I'm like, pick up the darn phone. You could probably talk to them. It'd be a lot more fun and you could laugh, right? I do like Voxer every now and then because at least you hear somebody's voice, But I just wanted to encourage y'all, Satan is the author of discouragement. Like he's the one, like that's his biggest tool. But the Lord has already won that battle and he's there for you. There's scriptures to back it up. And they're saying, take courage and let God do his thing. And, in the Mary Kay world, you'll see this over and over again, where at the end, big things happen when you have put forth the effort in. Like these last 3 days of the month, if you've been trying and you've been putting the effort in and you've been calling people and you've been texting people and you've been talking about your business, you're trying to get recruits, guess what? God's going to show up at the end. You're going to get some stuff. Now, if you hadn't done jack all month, like if you were David and you didn't even show up, how could the Lord even let them win that battle if nobody even showed up to fight, right? Somebody had to step forward. So it's not too late to make some effort. And then what happens is at the end, when it happens, you're like, only God could have made that happen because it sure wasn't me, right? So I just wanted y'all to be encouraged this week. There's 3 days left. What could you do in 3 days to make you feel like, hey, I had a good October? And then what could you do in the next 2 months to say, I had a good 2018? Like, what's that one thing that if I could get into whatever, maybe it's getting your red jacket, maybe it's get on target for a car, maybe it's get into DIQ or finish DIQ by the end of the year. What could you do? And, the thing is, if I ask each of you to make a list of every friend of yours that you have let down this last year by not being a woman of your word, by not doing what they asked you to do, probably be a very short list, if any. But if I ask you to make a list of every person of every time you've let yourself down, unfortunately, it'll be a long list, and you might not even be friends with yourself anymore. So I want y'all to be true to yourself, and whatever you're telling yourself that you want to do, just remember the story about David and Goliath, and remember that little girl that was on the high dive And somehow you just closed your eyes and you're like, you just did it. And then it was not so scary anymore, right? And so, and especially if you went, and a lot of times children, they'll dive like that and then they'll get right out and go right back up and do it again. And they don't wait like 10 months so they build up that fear again. Just like with the Mary Kay party, you do one, go ahead, book you another one right afterwards. That way you're like, hey, I got this. This is no big deal. Okay, so that's my message to you. Chroma Fusion is out. You guys need to all order that by the end of the month. Get that on your shelf so that you can be showing it all of November. I ordered mine's coming in tomorrow. I'm so excited to just show that at the meeting tomorrow night. You want to start using it yourself. I love the colors. Look how beautiful they are. They just stay on all day. 12-hour color for the 24-hour woman. That's what you need to say to your people. But it's going to be a great month end. Double credit to the end of the month. 2 masks free for every new consultant that signs up. Let's make it count these last 3 days of the month. Okay. So that's what I got for you guys today. And I'm going to let Selah, let me see if she's on here. Yep. I'm going to unmute Selah. She's going to tell us who is the winner for last week's drawing. Selah?
Yes, I'm excited to announce that Phyllis Harris was the winner. So I will get her prize. I will get her prize to her tomorrow night at the meeting.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, I'm going to unmute I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Well, no, I'm going to let it go for a minute. I'm going to unmute everybody. That's crazy, I know. Some of y'all are doing crazy stuff. You can remember some. But is there anybody like to say anything before we go ahead and stop the recording?
Hey, this is Lorraine. I just want to say, hey, everybody, and congratulations, Dana. What an awesome first party. So proud of you and your future team as well. And Lita, just thanks for the words that you bring every week to keep us encouraged. And I love what you said tonight about courage and just taking a leap of faith and doing it. Our pastor had a similar few minutes talk at the end of the service about anxiety and fear, and perfect love casts out fear, and Jesus love. And I mean, it's just such a perfect segue with for us just to have courage this week. Great things in our business. So thanks for all that you do, and hope everybody has a wonderful, awesome, productive week.
Awesome. Thank you, Lori.
Hey, Cleta, I want to share real quick.
Okay, go Jana first, then we'll come back to Sandra.
Okay, Dana, wonderful job. It really impresses me that you got those people in the chairs, and even if they didn't want to come there, you found a way. You're a find a way, make a way type of lady. You're going to find that line that you're going to do in this business, because people don't know how awesome this business is and how awesome the stuff is until you get them in the chairs. Great job, amazing. And Cleta, I was just praying about what I'm supposed to train about tomorrow night. And the funny thing is, I'm like, I think fear. And I'd even printed this thing off about fear. And I'm doing a Bible study about fear right now. And I'm like, oh, my Lord.
That's your third confirmation then.
1, 2, 3.
It is. Thank you, Jana. Thank you so much. Okay. Let's see. Sandra Bowes. Hang on. I muted her for a minute. Sandra Bowes, I think you wanted to say something.
I did. I thank you for talking about courage. It's been a kind of a rough patch for my family, and I need to get out there and have some courage, and I appreciate what you said tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandra. Love you, girl. Okay. Anybody else got anything they'd like to say?
Hey, Cleta, this is Selah. I just wanted to tell Dana congratulations, and Phyllis, congratulations. 2 new consultants, and had such an awesome week. And thank you for your words of encouragement, Cleta. It was great.
Thank you, Selah. Thank you so much.
Hey, Cleta.
Yep.
I
want to be.
Go ahead, Latrice. You go first.
Okay. No, I just love the part you were talking about, that we worry about things that never happen. I mean, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And, having that courage of checking out, but seriously, worrying about things that never, ever happen, and 90%, that's high. And so I congratulate, of course, your girls and everyone. And y'all, we have got to max out these last 3 days. And I appreciate your courage and you leading the way for us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Latrice. Love you, girl. Okay, and I think, hang on just a minute. Rachel Benefield, were you trying to say something?
No, I'm sorry. The TV was in the background.
Okay, no problem. I
turned it off.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay. Is there anybody else that'd like to share anything? Okay. I want to say that Mandy is on here, and Mandy wanted me just to thank all of you for praying for her husband. He had surgery this week, and he survived the surgery, and he is sitting up in a chair, and he's doing a lot better. So we're going to keep him in our prayers. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Mandy?
Just like you said, thank everyone for the prayers. He's still got a long road of recovery ahead of him.
Okay.
He's they said today he'll be here another 4 to 5 days.
Okay.
So y'all just continue to keep him in your prayers.
We sure will, girl. We sure will. Okay, you guys. Well, I'm going to stop the recording and